Tonight, breaking news as we come on the air 5 days to go. Kamala Harris and Donald Trump in the battlegrounds tonight, both making news at this hour.
An announcement has been made by David Muir, a well-known figure in the American journalism community and one of the most respected figures in the field, that he will be leaving ABC News. Muir has been the face of ABC World News Tonight for many years. He has delivered the most important stories of the day with a calm and steady presence, which has earned him the trust and admiration of a large number of people for that reason. A wave of discussions, curiosity, and speculation has been sparked as a result of his decision to leave the network. His departure not only signifies the end of an era for ABC, but it also raises questions about the future direction of the news industry and broadcast journalism as a whole. Click the like and subscribe buttons before we begin so that you can receive additional exclusive news. A journey that has been nothing short of remarkable has been taken by David Muir at ABC. In 2003, he became a member of the network, and due to his exceptional reporting abilities, charisma on the air, and dedication to journalism, he rose through the ranks almost immediately. By 2014, Muir had succeeded Diane Sawyer as the anchor of World News Tonight. She had been in that role since 2014. Under his direction, the program experienced a meteoric rise in viewership, and it frequently ranked as the evening newscast that received the most viewers in the United States. The coverage that Muir provided encompassed a wide range of significant events, such as natural disasters, presidential elections, and ongoing international conflicts. Over the course of his field reporting, he traveled from the front lines of war zones to communities that had been devastated by natural disasters. His objective was to provide viewers with a clear and comprehensive understanding of the world that they were surrounded by. More than just the absence of a well-known face, his departure from ABC is a significant loss. It is the absence of a news anchor whose presence has come to be associated with honesty and high-quality journalism. It is possible that Muir's decision to leave will bring about a change in the landscape of broadcast news, which has already been going through rapid changes as a result of the proliferation of digital media, social media platforms, and changing viewer habits. The repercussions of his departure are not limited to the ABC newsroom. Rather, they touch on more fundamental questions concerning the function of traditional news broadcasts in a world in which information is increasingly consumed in fragments and from a variety of sources. The decision that Muir made to leave ABC may not have been an easy one for him to make, because it requires him to step away from a position that has provided him with significant influence and a dedicated audience. On the other hand, it is also possible that Muir is looking for new opportunities and challenges that will enable him to communicate with a wider range of people in a variety of different ways. Considering that even well-established networks like ABC have been forced to adjust to new realities, it is possible that his decision was influenced by the shifting nature of journalism and the consumption of media. At the same time that younger generations are increasingly favoring digital sources over traditional television broadcasts, streaming services, online news platforms, and social media have all become critical players in the news space. One interpretation of Muir's departure is that it is a reaction to these shifts, which could put him in a position to interact with the changing media landscape in novel ways. A significant blow has been dealt to ABC News by the departure of David Muir. Not only has his presence on World News Tonight become an integral part of the network's brand, but it has also been a significant contributor to the network's ability to maintain a competitive advantage over other networks. In addition to bringing credibility and reliability to the newscast, Muir also brought a sense of stability. As a result of his departure, ABC is faced with the challenge of locating a suitable replacement who is capable of continuing to carry the torch, thereby preserving the network's reputation for journalistic excellence while simultaneously appealing to a diverse audience. It is inevitable that whoever takes over Muir's position will be subjected to comparisons, and they will have to win over an audience that has developed a certain level of expectation regarding the quality of reporting. It is also possible that the departure of Muir raises questions regarding the future of World News Tonight. Will the program continue to be presented in the same manner as it is currently, or will it be altered to reflect the changing nature of the media landscape? There is a possibility that ABC will make use of this opportunity to experiment with new methods, such as incorporating a greater number of digital elements, interactive features, or even a hybrid broadcast digital format. The news networks are struggling to maintain their relevance in the face of falling viewership in traditional time slots. Therefore, it will be essential for them to discover innovative ways to engage audiences. Muir's departure has the potential to act as a driving force behind these kinds of changes. Additionally, there are repercussions for the path that Muir's career will take. The public is left wondering about his next move after the announcement of his departure in the public eye. His options include joining a competing network, beginning his own media venture, or even investigating non-traditional media avenues such as podcasting, streaming platforms, or digital journalism initiatives. He could also choose to launch his own media venture. Muir is in a strong position to shape his own path forward, potentially setting a new standard for journalists who are seeking to adapt to the digital age. This is because of his reputation and experience, which puts him in a strong position. The actions that he takes next could have an impact not only on his professional life, but also on the more general strategies employed by other journalists and media organizations. One more aspect to take into consideration is the potential impact that Muir's departure could have on the culture at ABC News. Newsrooms are frequently centered on key figures who are responsible for determining the tone and direction of coverage. It is possible that the network will go through a period of adjustment as a result of Muir's departure. During this time, the network will reposition its editorial strategy and possibly reorganize its lineup of anchors and correspondents. There is a possibility that other well-known figures within the network might also reevaluate their roles, which would result in a period of transition that could potentially reshape the identity of ABC News. The dynamics of the newsroom, which have been bolstered for a considerable amount of time by Muir's consistent presence, will invariably undergo a change, which will bring about both challenges and opportunities for the future of the network. When viewed from a more holistic perspective, Muir's departure may also have an impact on audiences who have become accustomed to the manner in which he approaches journalism. The presence of this individual has served as a source of trust and reassurance for a great number of viewers during times of uncertainty. A distinguishing feature of World News Tonight has been his on-screen demeanor, which, when the situation calls for it, effortlessly combines a sense of calmness with a sense of urgency. There is a possibility that the change in anchor could be disorienting for some individuals, which could potentially have an impact on viewership patterns, at least in the short term. It is possible that longtime viewers will be slow to accept a new face, and the network will need to work diligently to establish the credibility and appeal of Muir's successor once they have been chosen. Furthermore, Muir's departure brings to the forefront the challenges that traditional television news faces in maintaining its relevance in an era that is characterized by rapid technological advancements and changing preferences among viewers. For the past 10 years, there has been a significant shift in the manner in which people take in news. Streaming platforms, YouTube, and social media all provide content that can be easily accessed on demand. As a result, the scheduled format of traditional news programs is becoming less appealing, particularly to younger audiences. It is possible that Muir's departure is a reflection of these shifts, highlighting the necessity for news organizations to adapt and find ways to capture attention in an environment that is becoming increasingly fragmented in the media. David Muir has the potential to become an independent journalist or media entrepreneur, and this possibility is not completely out of the question. After leaving major networks, journalists such as Megyn Kelly and Katie Couric have investigated similar avenues, which is in line with the current trend in which prominent figures in journalism are venturing out to create their own content platforms. It is possible that Muir's departure will pave the way for him to establish his own brand or network, where he will be able to utilize his experience and following to produce content that speaks to the audience directly, free from the constraints that are associated with traditional television. At the same time, Muir's decision to leave could also be a moment of introspection for ABC and other networks that are similar to it, as they evaluate how to attract and keep talent in an environment that is extremely competitive. The traditional model of news broadcasting, in which anchors become the face of a network for decades, is being challenged by the shorter attention spans of today's journalists as well as the different career aspirations that they have. It will be necessary for networks to reevaluate their approaches to the cultivation of new talent, the production of compelling content, and the adoption of technological innovations that have the potential to reimagine the delivery of news. When it comes to Muir, the options are virtually limitless. His experience covering some of the most important stories in the world has provided him with distinctive insights and perspectives that have the potential to be effectively translated into a variety of formats, including long-form documentaries, a news platform that focuses on digital content, and even educational initiatives in journalism. The departure of this individual may not only represent a change in his professional trajectory, but it may also represent an opportunity for him to make a contribution to the ever-evolving landscape of journalism in ways that extend beyond the anchor desk. It is also important to take into consideration the cultural impact that Muir's departure from ABC will have. His absence may leave a void for viewers who relied on his voice during times of crisis, because he has been a figure that many people have turned to during major events that have occurred on a national and international scale. The departure of a prominent news anchor such as Muir can be interpreted as a cultural shift, indicating a move away from the era in which evening news programs were the focal point of American life. It is a symbol of the increasing decentralization of the news industry, in which trust is not necessarily placed in a single anchor or network, but rather in a wide variety of sources and platforms. Additionally, the decision that Muir made to leave at the pinnacle of his career may encourage other journalists to take chances, explore roles that are not traditionally associated with them, and pursue alternative courses of action. It is possible that it will inspire a reassessment of what it means to be a journalist in the current and contemporary media environment. In this day and age, when digital media provides journalists with more leeway to shape their narratives and interact with their audience, the notion that one must remain connected to a major network in order to maintain influence and reach may be called into question. According to Muir's decision, there are viable and potentially rewarding alternatives to the conventional paths in journalism. This could serve as a signal to others that there are other options available. There has been a gradual erosion of the prestige and influence that network news anchors once held as a result of the fragmentation of the media and the shift towards digital content. Network news was an essential component of American culture during times when influential figures such as Walter Cronkite and Peter Jennings served as the nation's guiding voices by providing coverage of significant events. Given the significant role and visibility that Muir played at ABC, his departure from the network is a sign that the cultural status of news anchors may be undergoing a significant shift. The idea that a single authoritative figure is responsible for delivering the news of the day is gradually being replaced by a wider variety of news sources that are distributed through a decentralized network. This change is being driven in particular by younger generations, who frequently consider traditional news to be out of date and prefer content that is tailored to their interests and delivered through digital platforms such as YouTube, podcasts, and social media. In addition, the timing of Muir's departure raises some intriguing questions regarding the changing nature of storytelling in the field of journalism. Throughout his career, Muir has been praised for his ability to connect with viewers on an emotional level. He has been able to provide not only the facts, but also a sense of humanity behind the stories that he has covered. It's possible that this style, despite the fact that it resonates with a lot of people, is no longer perfectly aligned with the shifting ways in which stories are told. Beyond the confines of a nightly broadcast, it seems that the future of journalism is leaning towards more interactive and multimedia storytelling techniques. These techniques go beyond the traditional boundaries of journalism. It is possible to have a more profound engagement with audiences through the use of digital formats, which incorporate video, text, interactive elements, and interaction with social media to produce more immersive experiences. When viewed in this light, Muir may view his departure as an opportunity to more fully embrace these new forms of storytelling, with the possibility of exploring projects that make use of innovative approaches to the creation of content. It is possible that the decision to leave ABC was also influenced by the growing pressures within the media industry to cater to different audience segments, each of which has its own unique preferences and biases. As a result of the increasing polarization of the news, the role of a network anchor has become more complicated. This requires a delicate balance between objectivity and the expectations of an audience that may demand a particular narrative. In this setting, it is possible that Muir perceived the limitations of a traditional broadcasting environment as limiting his ability to engage in the kind of journalism that he considers to be meaningful. It is possible that by taking this step, he is putting himself in a position to pursue a form of journalism that provides more opportunities for freedom and creativity. This could be accomplished through the pursuit of independent projects, collaborations with other media outlets, or even through alternative platforms that provide a more flexible approach to the delivery of news. In addition, Muir's departure may have an impact on the career paths of other well-established journalists who are observing how prominent figures in the industry handle transitions in their careers. It is possible that his action will inspire his contemporaries to contemplate the ways in which they can adjust to the ever-changing requirements of the profession, and the ways in which they can continue to be relevant in an era in which careers in journalism are more fluid than they have ever been. The career path of a journalist used to be relatively linear in the past. It typically consisted of a steady ascent through the ranks of local news, followed by a transition to network television, and finally settling into a long-term anchor role. However, as a result of the proliferation of digital media, a significant number of journalists are now able to explore a variety of roles throughout their careers. These roles include producing multimedia content, writing, podcasting, and even engaging in entrepreneurial endeavors within the media industry. In light of Muir's departure, not only traditional media companies but also educational institutions that are responsible for the training of the next generation of journalists will be required to reevaluate their strategies. The departure of Muir is a symbol of the necessity for journalism schools to modify their course offerings in order to better prepare students for industries that are constantly evolving. The departure brings to light the fact that the traditional skill sets that were once necessary for a successful career in broadcast journalism, such as on-camera delivery and field reporting, are no longer sufficient on their own alone. Students will need to have a strong understanding of all aspects of multimedia production, including the technical aspects, as well as digital storytelling and audience engagement strategies. In light of this, Muir's decision to step down could result in a reassessment of the way journalism is taught, which would push academic programs to place a greater emphasis on digital skills, entrepreneurial thinking, and even data-driven journalism. The void that Muir's departure from ABC has created may provide opportunities for new voices to emerge in the field of journalism. During the process of looking for a replacement, the network may have the opportunity to introduce new talent that is representative of the diversity that exists in modern America, not only in terms of race and gender, but also in terms of socioeconomic background, geographical diversity, and life experiences. There is a growing demand for newsrooms to be more representative of the society that they cover. This demand isn't just limited to racial and gender diversity. It is possible that the individual who takes over for Muir will bring a fresh viewpoint to the evening news, which could result in a change in the temperament and manner in which World News Tonight is presented in order to better connect with a wider variety of viewers. It is possible that this change will mark the beginning of a new era for ABC, one in which the network will be more daring in its programming choices and may even move away from the conventional anchor model entirely in favor of a presentation format that is more dynamic. Additionally, Muir's departure sheds light on the competitive nature of network news and the challenges that it faces in an era that is dominated by digital content. It is no longer the case that networks are merely competing against one another. There is also a vast array of online platforms that provide news content, frequently with a particular perspective or style that is appealing to specific audiences. They are competing with these platforms. Due to the intense level of competition in this environment, it is necessary to take a more strategic approach to the production and dissemination of content. It's possible that networks like ABC will be prompted to investigate new formats, such as shorter, more digestible news segments that are tailored for mobile devices, or even immersive virtual reality experiences that bring news stories to life in a different way. The possibility that Muir's decision will also have an effect on how the general public views journalism as a profession is something that should be taken into consideration. He has presented himself as a reliable voice in a field that has been facing increasing scrutiny over issues such as bias, misinformation, and the blurring of lines between news and entertainment throughout his entire career. He has maintained a reputation for journalistic integrity throughout his entire career. At a time when people's faith in the media is at an all-time low, his departure might be seen by some as the loss of one of the most credible figures in the industry. It is possible that this moment will serve as a catalyst for a renewed discussion on the values of journalism, what it means to be a journalist in the modern era, and how the profession can rebuild trust with the general public regarding the profession. Furthermore, the departure of Muir from his prominent position raises the question of whether or not high-profile journalists will continue to possess the same level of cultural cachet that they once did. The spotlight has shifted in recent years towards journalists who are able to leverage their personalities and platforms on social media, frequently building their followings independently of any one network. This shift in the spotlight has occurred in recent years. In this context, the departure of a major network anchor such as Muir may be interpreted as a signal of a cultural shift towards a model in which individual journalists behave more like independent brands, producing and sharing content across a variety of platforms, rather than being tied to a single network identity. The lines between traditional journalism and content creation may become even more blurry as a result of this shift, which will present the industry with the challenge of redefining what constitutes news reporting under the digital age. It is not enough for ABC to simply find another competent anchor to take Muir's place without facing additional challenges. It will be necessary for the network to make certain that it maintains its core audience's interest while also reaching out to younger viewers who have a different way of keeping up with the news. It is possible that this will involve experimenting with interactive elements, incorporating a greater variety of perspectives, and increasing the use of social media as a primary tool for the delivery of journalistic content. The departure may also result in increased collaboration between various departments within ABC, such as the integration of digital news teams with traditional broadcast teams in order to produce a news operation that is more cohesive and versatile. To add insult to injury, Muir's decision to leave ABC comes at a time when the news industry is struggling to cope with significant economic pressures. A growing number of businesses are shifting their budgets towards digital platforms, which provide superior targeting capabilities and data analytics, which has resulted in a decline in the levels of advertising revenue generated by traditional television. Many news organizations have been forced to downsize, merge, or transition to subscription-based business models as a result of the financial strain. As a result, Muir's departure may be interpreted as a reminder of the financial vulnerabilities that traditional media are currently facing, as well as the urgent need for networks to innovate and diversify their revenue streams in order to remain sustainable over the long term. Something else that should be taken into consideration is how Muir's departure might influence how people around the world view broadcast journalism in the United States. Throughout the course of his career, Muir has reported from a wide variety of countries, covering significant events that have occurred all over the world, with an approach that frequently aimed to provide a perspective that was both balanced and humanizing. His presence on World News Tonight provided a sense of continuity and connection with viewers from around the world who were looking for an American perspective on the political and economic situation in the world. There is a possibility that the international aspect of ABC's coverage could be impacted as a result of Muir's departure. This probability is contingent upon the manner in which the network decides to proceed and the individual that they choose to succeed Muir. During this period of transition, ABC may have the opportunity to either take advantage of expanding its international reporting efforts or reevaluate the focus of its coverage in order to better resonate with an audience that is located all over the world. The implications of Muir's departure are not confined to ABC and the media industry as a whole. Rather, they also have an effect on the way in which the general public interacts with content that is related to the news. For years, the traditional model of watching the evening news as a routine practice has been declining. However, the familiarity and trust associated with anchors such as Muir have kept some viewers loyal to the show. There is a possibility that the shift towards non-traditional news consumption habits will be accelerated as more prominent figures in journalism transition out of network roles. This could mean that there is a greater emphasis placed on personalized news experiences, in which individuals select content based on their interests, or that there is an increase in community-oriented journalism that focuses on local issues and perspectives. What will happen to television news in the future is one of the most pressing issues that has arisen as a result of Muir's departure. Over the past 20 years, there has been a significant shift in the landscape of the news industry. With the introduction of news channels that are available around the clock, the internet and social media have fundamentally altered the way in which people stay informed. There has been a significant decrease in overall viewership, as younger audiences have shifted their attention towards digital platforms. This is despite the fact that traditional network news broadcasts, such as World News Tonight, continue to attract significant numbers of viewers. In this day and age, when information can be accessed instantly through the internet, the traditional model of watching a nightly news program at a predetermined time is becoming less appealing. There is a possibility that Muir's departure from ABC is a sign that even the most well-known and well-established figures in the news industry are aware that the industry needs to move beyond this format in order to remain relevant. Throughout the course of American media history, ABC has been a significant and iconic player. It is one of the big three networks. A broader trend that has been developing for years is highlighted by Muir's departure from such a foundational news organization. This trend is the necessity for traditional networks to redefine their roles in the entertainment industry. Considering the growing number of people who access news through their smartphones, social media feeds, and streaming services, the traditional television broadcast model is finding it difficult to compete with the instantaneous and diverse options available in digital news. As a result of this shift, networks such as ABC are being forced to rethink their approach to journalism and the presentation of news, beginning to investigate new formats that are better suited to an audience that is becoming increasingly digital. It is possible that Muir's departure will hasten the process of incorporating content that is more suitable for digital platforms, and it may even result in significant alterations to the organizational structure of network newsrooms. Because of this move, it is possible that the changing expectations regarding the role of news anchors will be brought to light. Anchors have traditionally been regarded as objective and authoritative figures who served as the nation's storytellers. They were responsible for providing a concise summary of the most significant events of the day in a manner that was both credible and felt personal. This conventional function was exemplified by Muir, who possessed a serene demeanor and a reputation for being trustworthy. Modern audiences, especially younger ones, are increasingly drawn to news that combines information with analysis and personality, challenging traditional neutrality. David Muir's departure may lead ABC to explore a more personal approach for its anchors, aligning with trends in digital media. Additionally, his exit raises questions about ABC's commitment to international reporting, as networks often cut back on foreign bureaus due to costs, favoring local freelancers or digital correspondents instead. ABC may focus more on domestic issues that feel immediately relevant to American viewers. Muir's exit also highlights the shift in trust from traditional media toward alternative sources and individual creators. ABC may respond by adopting more transparent and interactive news formats to re-engage public trust. The growing importance of streaming and digital analytics is likely to influence ABC's strategies, with potential investments in exclusive streaming content that caters directly to viewer interests. Muir's departure could also impact ABC's local affiliates, who rely on national programming for evening news. This might push local stations to increase focus on community journalism, especially if national news appeal wanes. Financial challenges facing traditional media might drive ABC to explore digital subscription models and direct consumer engagement, such as premium content or partnerships with independent creators. Culturally, Muir's exit marks a shift in the anchor role, with future journalists potentially adopting more personal, advocacy-driven approaches, diverging from the impartiality traditionally expected. As audience expectations evolve toward more interactive and specialized content, ABC might incorporate viewer engagement tools like live questions or polls. Additionally, ABC may explore segmented programming, offering content tailored to niche interests like technology, health, or politics, to better serve a diverse viewership. A like and a subscription to our channel would be greatly appreciated if you enjoyed watching this video. We would also appreciate it if you could leave a comment below and tell us whether or not you were surprised by David Muir's decision to leave ABC. We are searching for your response. We appreciate you watching, and we hope to see you again soon.